4, 3, 2, live.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Oh, we are here. And there she is, the Egyptian princess. I see, I off air, I say nice. I don't say nice things on air. I always say nice things. You look gorgeous with your hair like that. I wish I could do that with my hair.
Yeah, Noosh. Yeah.
Looking nice. I think, yeah, I mean, this video always cracks me up. I think it's just time. And look, I even have the leaves. It's just time for me to make a new one, I feel, because I'm still wrapped in my rabbit fur. It is past solstice. Ooh, happy solstice, everybody.
Happy solstice. Yes,
Happy solstice to you. Yeah, we haven't seen you for a while, Noosh, because
she was out drinking last week and she couldn't make it last week.
Yeah, you were working and then you had some sort of allergy towards Stephen and I probably.
I've been pitching balloons all my life, and then I ended up waking up as a balloon myself. I was the
artist. I dated a girl that looked like a balloon. In fact, I took her over to the Macy Day Parade. They tied ropes on her. Yeah. So.
All right. So today, ladies and gentlemen,
I
am
with the ladies, huh?
My third special guest. Very good fingers, Stephen. And it is a wonderful international gentleman who has a lot for us to talk about.
Wow, that's the introduction?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. It's the time in there.
Are we going to have enough time for all of this?
I like it. That's cute.
Well, I'm getting better.
All right. Are we ready to bring in the time in here?
Yes, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time in here.
Does anybody have some time?
Hey.
He apparently has time. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. We love it. This is actually Noosh's show, so we're going to let Noosh do stuff, and then we just, we're just like the comic relief. So
sit down and look prettier, like they used to tell me. Now it's your turn.
So,
all right, Mr. Tamionaire, first of all, tell us where you today.
Where am I today?
Yes, location-wise, because all of us are in different locations. I'm upstate in the woods. Stephen is still in Texas for some reason. And Mr. Avid Loft Raid, where are you exactly?
I'm in the Netherlands.
Well, there you go. So
there you go.
So we're closer then, because I'm actually right now I'm in Poland. So I'm I'm half a world away. Yeah, so I'm sitting
just down the road from me then.
Just down the road, a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah. That's what the Germans said too, back in the 40s or the 30s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Twice already. All right, so Mr. Tamionaire. So we actually met through one of my BNI meetings. He was one of the visitors, and I fell in love right away about all of his concept of, instead of what we're working on mostly in this country, which is wealth with a $sign, Stephen, you mostly, haha.
Thank you very much.
The time is actually the biggest wealth of all. So Dominic, you go. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did all of that started and your journey to become the Tamionaire that I know you are and that I want everybody to discover?
Well, time and money are what everybody wants, but what they use the worst. They're simply their tools, right? Time, money, energy, the three resources in life that we all crave and we all strive for, but what we just simply don't really know how to use extremely well. Why? Because unless your parents taught you, the school system definitely didn't teach you because that's how it's designed. And if you never learned on your own or met anybody in life, you're just ignorant and you just have no idea. And you go through life through trial and error. And what we see happening, and this is what I call like the real pandemic of what's going on, is the fact that everybody is just claiming that they don't have time. but we all have 24 hours. No matter, that's the one thing that connects us on this planet, is no matter where you live, how rich or poor, old, young, big, small, we all share these 24 hours. So how can you claim to not have what we all have? So we see all these gurus and everybody out there, you know, telling you, oh, I can help you make millions and billions and all that kind of stuff. And I saw this need for, in a market that really is the solution to everything, because time in the end is all that matters. Everybody's chasing the millions and they're losing the balance in their lives. They're getting sick. They're letting ego and greed manipulate them and drive them. And they lose their relationships, their health, and their lives fall apart. And it's all connected with time. So this is an idea that just kind of stumbled upon me one day, and by freak accident. So because I'm writing a book right now on the topic of how I became a timionaire, and by freak accident, I stumbled upon this social disease that I named IDHT syndrome. And IDHT syndrome stands for I don't have time. And that's really kind of my mission, is to educate people and to help them learn how to use these tools and give them back the balance in their lives.
Love it. I don't have time. This is, I think, the first time that I really started hearing that actually was when I moved up here. I remember that I had to schedule with my friends a lunch, sometimes weeks in advance, because they don't have time. I was in shock. I remember so vividly that because I called all my friends at the time. I didn't have that many, that's true. I was a bit of a loner in my beginnings in America, for good reason. But yeah, I remember sitting down in Central Park, and everybody was busy for the next 2 to 3 weeks between, you know, fun things and work. And I mean, God knows what, how is that possible that, yes, we end up not having time? You're right. This is something that definitely needs to be looked a little bit more into, because at the end of the day, you're right. We all do have 24 hours, but nobody has time for nothing.
Yeah. You know, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. But if not, you'll find an excuse. And there's so many available excuses now, and we kind of, it's kind of like the mechanisms of addiction, right? Addiction is all based on mechanisms that happen in your brain. I think it's a combination of rationalization, minimization, blaming, and all those. That's really what addiction is. And the same concepts are used with time as well. We rationalize the fact that we don't have time. Yet, if I told you, oh, really? You don't have time to meet with me? Well, I was actually going to give you a car for free. Well, somebody's like, hold on a second, let's work something out. So it's a matter of options. It's a matter of choices, and people prioritize, but they prioritize based on, I think, the wrong priorities, right? Most people are trapped in this vicious circle. They're either in debt or financially in trouble, and they're forced to keep going. They're forced to exchange their time for money. They're forced to achieve someone else's goals instead of focusing on their own. And it's a whole process, and it's not the same for everyone. But one thing that I want to tell you guys is very important in this. There's two different types of people on the planet when it comes to time. And the system that I use that I really think is the best is the MBTI system. It's the Myers-Briggs. All the leading spy agencies use it. I mean, it's used in business. It's the best. There's nothing better.
What is that? MBTI.
MBTI.
All right.
Yeah, it's the Myers-Briggs type indicator. And it's the most accurate system into being able to classify people based on their temperament and personality type. And everybody falls into a system of one of 16 personalities. There's 4 temperaments, and in each temperament, there's 4 types. 4 times 4 is 16. That's the combination you get. But within that system, there's a category of planner, non-planner. And throughout the world, all 8 billion of us will fall into one of 2 categories. The planner obviously naturally likes to plan. They like to make lists, especially checklists. It's orgasmic for them to check things off, or cross things out. They schedule. They're neat. They're tidy. They put things in their place where they belong. And it's just a natural tendency. On the other hand, there's the spontaneous types. And they're non-planners. They like to go with the flow. They just like to kind of allow life to take its course. And they feel they don't feel good being tied down to schedules or to commitments. And that's the reality. And both these people exist, and they're everywhere. These are our friends, our relatives. They're in the office. And unless you understand which category you fall in, society is going to judge you based on their own perception. So if I'm a planner and I'm with like Noosh and she's more of a free spirit, well, in a business environment, there's going to be problems. But
so hold on a second. So the funny thing, now that I'm hearing this again, because you did tell that to me before. I mean, go with the flow. I know, Steven, you're gonna love me for that. Only dead fish go with the flow. I mean, I would rather be the river and go with my own flow these days. But the thing is, I mean, at least for me, I feel that now in this time of my life, I mean, yes, I am the flowing river, but I kind of want to be also the universe where I build my own bed of the river so I know where my river goes. I do love schedules. I do love waking up with the sun, but yeah, like tied down to business wise, I like things tidier. You should see the house that I run. I run a tight ship. We have right now a man who's an ex-FBI, CIA, and Marine guy who's 91 and who keeps doing this to me because I run a tight ship. I might go, you know, with my own river of things and be very nooshy floofy, like they call me. Is it possible to be both? I think I'm both at this point.
Well, look. Everybody has kind of two types within them. You have your basic type, and you got like what's called your shadow type person, and they come out in different situations. But if your time, money, and energy is like, if you have time, money, and energy, then you're going to be more chilled and you're going to kind of want to relax. But if those resources are kind of used up, then you're going to go back to being like, you know, natural you, like the survival instinct, and you're going to go back to kind of your type. Everybody's a little bit different, but remember, these are preferences. It's a preference, right? You prefer to use one. It doesn't mean that you can't, like sometimes when your environment gets too messy, you go, Jesus Christ, this is out of control. And your shadow type comes in, you're like, I got to clean up here. But then you allow it to kind of slip away over the course of time again, right? Same thing with schedules. Like, I mean, look, we most of us live in cities and we are surrounded by systems and processes. And these require us to conform to time. If we don't, people are going to ostracize us. We're going to look like idiots or be assholes and stuff like that. So if you really want to escape that, you got to kind of, you know, leave the system. And that's a choice too. And not too many people are going to choose to do that. So rather they will suffer in the system that they're not designed to be in just because of, well, their choices in the end.
I mean, also, I mean, don't you feel, I mean, so how people that are trapped in systems, because I do believe that ultimately there is a system here. God, I don't know if anybody's going to like anything I say. Well, I'm going with it. I just told Dominic before offline that I've been growing my garden and growing some bowls these days. So I will say it. Oh, Steven, I know.
But are you growing those balls in your garden or on your person?
on my aura. So yeah, Steven, that one's for you. But
wait, you have aura balls?
Oreo balls,
That,
you know?
Yeah, horribles. Yeah, you get it from Amazon, Stephen.
No,
That reminds me of that South Park episode. Remember when?
Don't you dare tell me that I remind you of Cartman. I will literally melt away right now in a red puddle.
Not Cartman. No, not at all. It was Jesus. One of the dads. He wanted like a weed. He wanted a weed prescription, but he had to get cancer to get one. So he put his balls in like an X-ray machine or something. They grew to like 10 times the size. He was carrying them around in a wheelbarrow. Do you guys remember that episode?
Sounds familiar.
Vaguely.
I suffered for 3 years watching this, falling asleep. Ugh.
I don't think David knows what the South Park is. I don't think they get it in there.
No, David, that's fine. You haven't missed anything.
They do get it here. We have a South Park. We've got one on the north side as well, and there's one on the east. So we're pretty. We got a lot of parks. You know, don't worry about it.
That's a good
one.
one.
That backward here.
Going back to my balls for a second, please.
Yes. Please tell us about your balls.
I do believe, and of course, and so the one thing, okay, I'm going to start by saying, so the one thing the other day we were discussing the state of affairs in the world, which I don't do too often because otherwise I'll be depressed 24/7. But so we looked at, because I thought that the United States had a bad state of affairs, and we looked on the index around, like from all the countries in the world. So out of 180 countries, America is rated the 21st best out of them. So we are still one of the best countries ever with systems that are, well, I mean, I guess, yeah, we're trying to do our best and evolution goes slow, but I still do believe that we have a system here that enables the ones that are on top stay on top and even higher. And it's like, it's a modern type of slavery, because people most of them live paycheck to paycheck. They're all in debt. So there's no real choice for them to decide, well, you know what? I'm going to quit my job now and go find my life and find my passion and find the time to do it.
Yeah.
So how do all of those people that live in the condition of our state of affairs can get out and find the time?
Well, look, once again, I'm going to revert back to the metaphor of addiction, because it falls under that category. You know, the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. So therefore, the person who is in this vicious circle will be one of the last people to find out and be one of the last to admit it. Just like the alcoholic will be the last one to admit it when everybody around him knows that he's sick and there's a problem and his life is going in the wrong direction. It's only when things get too bad. It's unfortunately when people start to realize I need to make changes, but that's that's the toughest part. And that's where most will fail, because they are going to try to do it alone. They're going to try to repeat the same process over and over again, expecting a different result, which that is the definition of insanity, which most people are literally on the verge of nowadays, we can see. So for the average person to snap out of it, the system is not designed for that. It's designed to keep you in the loop in it, and to keep you kind of the facade of everything is okay. It's only when things get really bad, that's when you have a chance. But are you going to do it alone? No, you need somebody like a specialist, somebody to be able to first slap you out of it and then rip apart your life and help you put it back together. But only if that's, you really are ready to invest. And when I'm talking about investing, once again, it's your time, energy, and those two main resources that you're going to have to put into it. It's going to be tough as hell. Most people will fail, but the ones that do are going to be liberated. They're going to literally be able to get back the balance in their lives. So it's kind of like helping an addict. You want them to hit rock bottom and them to realize, something's wrong. I really need to change. And if they don't hit that rock bottom, chances are they're just going to kind of oscillate between, bad times and worse times.
Let me ask you this. So if someone comes to you and they say, I have this issue, addiction, whatever it might be. So do you then act, and you'll forgive me for, I'm going to use all the buzzwords because, people, that's what they know. So are you acting as a life coach? Are you acting more as a time manager? Or are you saying, listen, I want you to clear your mind and I want you to start thinking this way?
Okay.
So how does that work?
Sure. Let's take a step back. I was born in Poland. I grew up in North America. I moved back to Europe 12 years ago and kind of restarted my life. Growing up in North America, obviously having English as a first language, as you can hear, gives a lot of benefits while traveling around the world and a lot of opportunities to make some money teaching English. So I kind of did that. When I left Canada, where I was living in Vancouver, and I moved to Japan for a while. Then I came back to Poland. And the first company that I opened up was a language school, because I realized that that was just easy. People wanted to pay me good money just to speak my language with them. Why not? But then what happened during lessons is I naturally found that my students really enjoyed the lessons, because not only was I teaching them English, I was helping them with different aspects of their lives, because I was just naturally a good teacher and a coach and a mentor to some of them because of all the things that I've been through in life and stuff like this. And people were telling me like, wow, like you really helped me. And I had this opportunity where, just like I met kind of Noosh by sheer accident or destiny, I met another person. Her name is Camila, and she was putting on an event, and it was a personal development event that was big in our city. And she wanted to invite a lot of different people that had certain skills. And she asked me, hey, maybe you want to come and you want to promote your language school. I said, you know what? Maybe I want to try to promote this new idea I have. So I asked her, when is this event? She goes, was in 10 days. So I had 10 days to reinvent myself. And I already knew that I had the abilities to help people because I was doing it for years. I just wasn't calling myself a coach or a mentor. But then I said, I'm going to start a business where I'm going to be helping people. And if you want to call it coaching or mentoring, so be it, or personal development, whatever. So I did that. And and then I went to that event and I promoted myself as a coach. And that's where I met the first couple of people who basically became my clients. They opened up many doors, and I started my second business of business strategy, life and business coaching and mentoring. So that was my second company that I opened up. And this concept of timing-air fits so perfectly because what I noticed with all my clients is the first few things that they said that they would need to change for their lives to improve would be to have more time and time and time. And it was just so repetitive that I thought, well, this is something that I need to focus my niche on. And when I created the word timing-air, which I then trademarked around the world in the US and then in Europe and everything, I realized that this is what I want my niche to be. And this is really my mission on this planet, because there's so many people teaching you how to make money. And I always say, look, go to them first. If you don't become a millionaire and you try that a few times and you realize it's not really working out for you, come to me after. I'm willing to take the scraps of all the big gurus in the world and then show you how to actually live a balanced life, not the life that's focused on greed and hustle and losing the balance to try to get those extra zeros on the bank account. So I'm going to give you balance. I'm going to show you how to live a fulfilled and happy life based on what the plan that you set, not the one I set for you. And I'm gonna custom tune that to your personality type and to your past and to your goals. I start off by asking people 2 questions, and that's really what I do. I say, from 0 to 10, how would you rate your life right now? If we threw everything, your health, your relationships, your career, your finances, your time, your hobby, blah, 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 blah. If we were to throw that all in one pile, how would you rate your current situation? So people say, 0. No, nobody says 0, but people say 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, whatever, right? There's those numbers oscillate from 3 to 8 usually. And then my second question is what would have to change for that number to be a solid 9? And that is when people have to write down those things, and that becomes the plan. I didn't create that. You said where you were at. You said what's missing. That becomes our mission together. But high on that list on everybody is time. And what I do next is I have a 16-question diagnosis, which diagnoses on what stage of IDHT syndrome you're at. Because similar to a cancer, this also has stages. And once you progress into a stage, it's hard to regress back. And most likely you'll get sucked into the abyss. So once I diagnose you, once I realize what you need, that's kind of how we get going.
I love it. You see, this is where he's like me. He's Polish. I'm Russian. We're from the East, you get sucked to the abyss. We have this Slavic, dramatic way to see things. I absolutely love it. But you know what? It's true. Like once it's just like a diagnosis. I've been doing a lot of cleaning up in my life and dealing with things for the last probably maybe 2 years. And everything started with my friend who's a grieving counselor who's absolutely amazing. And I did this course with him because he just started and I wanted to support him, and me, who's always of service to my community around me. I figured that, well, I don't know everything about grief. There's probably some tips I can learn for whoever will be grieving around me in my lifetime. And that plan completely backfired, and it reopened all my own grievances that I stitched very badly. So like all of the things that I completely forgot and locked in my mind for the last 30 years reappeared, things that I haven't even thought about. And to be able, and I think that this is really related to time, because the more things that you haven't dealt with yourself, the more it's going to actually consume you time subconsciously, because all those things are like luggage you carry with you that is subconsciously heavy, not only on your being, but also on your time management, because you're not free of all of the things. And that's where I'm linking it to the abyss. It's going to suck you into the abyss, and you're not going to have time for anything unless you really sit down with yourself and figure things out. I think it's really important for every being to kind of do maybe even a checklist once a year. If you don't have time for things, sit down with yourself and see, well, what's in me? not only organization, financial, and everything, like about your soul. Where is this locked in your soul that you don't, uneasy about life? Anyway, that was my Slavic point. I am done. Back to you, Dominic.
No, I mean, you bring up a really good point. I always tell people this. I mean, life, money comes and goes, literally. I mean, you can lose it all and make it all back and then some, and you can keep on repeating that process. But every minute that you either give to someone else or that you kill, you are never going to get that back. And people only realize it when it's too late, and then it's just too late. And you don't get a mulligan on that one, right? Like, oh, come on, man, just a couple more years. Yes, maybe now with medicine and tech and stuff, we can prolong that process. But the reality of the situation is we only get this one life. Okay, I believe in reincarnation and other lives, but I mean, come on. I mean, I love this one so much that, I just want to milk this one for all it's worth. And just like if you were an athlete and you were to compete in the Olympics, you wouldn't do that alone. You would get somebody to help you with that, because you understand that at that level, you cannot do it alone. You're just incapable of doing that, right? So you get a coach, you get a mentor. Life is like the Olympics. Everybody wants to win the gold. You get one shot, and if you screw it up, you don't get a repeat, right? And yet most people are going through it alone. And I guess there's this like, there's a lot of people out there that have made the term coaching and mentoring kind of a negative thing, but there's so many people out there that's literally their job, is to help others, right, live a better life. But not everybody's meant to do that. It takes a certain person, individual. You have to have natural abilities. You have to also have gone through some serious shit in your own life, and you have to prove that you can start from absolute nothing or even lower and build up something amazing. And if you can do that and then do it with others, you deserve the right to call yourself a coach or a mentor. But there are other people out there that have given it a bad name, right? So that's kind of why, I mean, people ask me, what do you do? I say, well, personal development, right, is what I do, education and personal development, because that's really, and teaching people how to use tools, right? That's kind of what I like to call it.
Yes.
So you're under the philosophy, though. You're under the philosophy, though, like a Buddha almost, because Buddhists say everybody thinks they have it, but they don't, which is time. So that's kind of what you're saying. It's like
the pebble in my shoe here is that you just seem as if you want to be selling time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, sure, but don't you want to buy it? Like, what, you rather buy a BMW or something? Like, don't you want to buy time?
Why would I want to buy time?
Well, because if you love your life and you have
hobby. I love my life, but I have no desire to buy time for my life from somebody else. Why would I want to do that?
Well, but so then it means
I'm not being shitty. I just don't get it. I just think, why would I want to buy time?
Well, because probably,
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, because probably you are you're not the person that needs it. You then have time for everything that you want, and you love your life. Then you don't need it, because you're not the demographic that is just like stuck in the whirlpool of not having time for anything. You're not the demographic.
I'm stuck in the same whirlpool as you are, Noosh and Steve.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
How do you know what whirlpool I am in?
Yeah.
She uses Maytag, David, not Whirlpool. She uses Maytag. That's right.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you're probably breathing the same oxygen as I am.
No, mine is
we're all on this little marble in space together. So yeah, we all have. So I just think, well, this is my time. This is what I've been given, and so why I like me to make me want to buy time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're buying time, David. I think he's explaining how to do time management better, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but I would imagine that this is a business concept that I would have to hire the gentleman, and I would have to pay him to give me time.
Like it would be like buying a life. It's like paying a life coach or buying a business mentor or whatever. You pay to learn.
Learn about my own time.
Well, how about this one? Do you need to buy? Do you want to buy a bra for yourself?
Sorry,
do you want to buy a bra?
A bra.
So
A brassiere.
bra?
A brassiere.
Yeah,
A
a
brassiere.
bra, brassiere. Do you want to buy one? Do you need one?
Yeah, at my age, I probably will have to buy one.
But what I'm getting at is you don't need one. So if you don't need time, then kudos to you, man. Like that's money that you don't have to spend on time. But you know how many people would give their right leg to have more time? You know how many people that's what they come to a point in their lives because they've lost control, they've lost the things that made them happy, or they've lost opportunities, and they're willing to do anything to get that back or to learn how to fix that. But if you don't need that, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example. I speak English. So my daughter, I speak English to her, so she doesn't need English lessons. So if an English teacher calls her and says, hey, do you want English lessons? She goes, no, I don't need it. Well, because she doesn't need it. So she doesn't go in the funnel. She's not a hot lead. She gets, okay, thank you, have a nice day, and move on. So when it comes to as a business, if you don't need it, I'm not selling it to you, right? But maybe you know people that do, and then you can pass that on, and then that's how it works. But on a non-business level, I bet you this, I'm going to put my money, there's going to come a day where you're going to go, fuck, that bald guy was right. I wish I could have some more time now.
Well,
No,
I wish I could have.
That's not going to happen because the cards have been dealt, and this is the hand I play.
Right, but that's also your personality type too. You're speaking on from your own perception, but you're stuck in your own perception too.
Yeah,
right?
well, there's only myself and 3 other virtual people in my life at the moment. So that's the only way. That's the only way I can look at it.
Me, myself, and I.
Right.
No,
so that's
the
a
three
very
of us on this.
I don't think I'm an egotist. I don't.
Are you
think
religious, David?
Not really. No.
Not really.
No.
Spiritual?
No, I can accept the concept that people think there's something greater than themselves.
But when you said earlier that you believe that your cards were dealt, that's actually something, Dominic, that's something that I fight with. I mean, not fight. I don't.
Okay.
Fight,
let me try this way. Can I try this one? Okay.
Yeah.
How about this one?
It sounds like I'm poo-pooing you, Dominic. But
No. Listen, I like this. I love a good, healthy debate. Seriously, I love it. Let's try it this way. Right now, you've got a certain amount of money in your bank account and in cash around your house, right? Like
yes,
he's got money stuff in the mattresses because he's from the old school. Yes.
Okay, so check this out. Stop working. Stop working. Stop earning money. Just those, your money cards were dealt. Just play out the rest of your life with the money you have. Don't earn anymore. Don't do it. Why? Because if it was meant to be, then your life will just go the way it was with the money. And when you run out, you run out. And that's just the way it is. You see the metaphor there? Stop earning. Stop going to work. Stop taking checks. Stop taking transactions. Because that's like you buying time. You earning money is building up that resource of money. Buying time is building up that resource of time. If you say your cards are dealt, well then stop earning money and just let it go, and let's see how far you go.
I have let it go. Honestly, I have. I had a lot of money and I lost it. I had a lot of money in 2008. Lost that in the .com bubble. More money than more money than
you still do something every day. You're still earning somehow, right? You're still somehow earning.
I'm earning. I'm earning the ability to get out of bed and to let the day roll over me.
Oh, isn't that that's what? Sweet, my God, David, I love you. Well, you're definitely not our demographic.
But like I say, I'm not. It's like, we have you as a guest on the show, and I'm fascinated to hear what you say. But like I say, I was a little bit of a pebble in my own personal shoe. Sure. So my point of view, ladies and gentlemen, is just about me. The fact that I can't understand it has nothing to do with the fact that it
is like when I would work with the 14-year-olds, the kids that we worked with at some, because all of a sudden he's your aunt. Because when your mom and dad say don't put your hand on the stove, you put your hand on your stove. Your aunt tells you to do it, and you're like, my aunt is a genius. She knows the stove is hot. So in Dominic's case, you'd be like, hey, you don't have to listen to me because you 14-year-olds can't get your work done. I'm going to bring someone who's going to show you better time management. So in that case, it actually would work because it's like, the kid's not listening to their parents. I think it's fascinating. I mean, we've done these courses since I was on Wall Street. So I find them all interesting. And everybody's got a different take on it, like the 1 minute manager and how to organize and whatever. And I'm assuming he's just, and I mean this as a compliment, has taken the last umpteen thousands of years and said, I've got this program. And you've taken it a step further, saying this is a syndrome. You have to be diagnosed, and then we have to start peeling back the layers so we make it better for you or change your habit. So that's the fascinating part. It's not like you have to do it this way. It's like you have to know what the issue is to get to the problem. So in that respect, I like that, because most of them don't do that. Most of them just say, listen, you read the book,
absolutely,
and that's
absolutely.
it. So that's a positive.
I think I actually, the thing is, like, you know, what made me decide to keep going with this, because, okay, Time Millionaire is catchy. Yes, it works and everything. But what really made me believe in it is once I discovered IDHT syndrome, because I go, Dominic, you've actually found something real. You're not just coming up with some bullshit like thing on, you know, like some growth hack here. Like, you've really stumbled upon a social disease. And I go, well, hold on a second. Like, really, did I? Like, let me test this. And then I went about testing hundreds of people in society, say, how many people are what stage are we at? And most of society is at a stage 2 minimum. It's 16 questions. And and stage 2 is like, you know, you're teetering on like not living a happy, fulfilled life. Stage 3 is you've lost control. And stage 4, you're just a slave, right? You're a slave to the never ending spinning hands of the clock. And unfortunately, once again, going back to the planners, non-planners, I'm a planner myself, and I am a slave to time because time controls me. I do everything according to time. Now, it's a choice, but it's also a natural tendency, so I'm okay with it. But if I were a non-planner being forced to live in a society or a corporal structure, and yes, I'm getting paid because I need to survive. Okay, so I'll deal with it. But that's going to lead to burnout. That's going to lead to mental problems. That's going to lead to an unfulfilled, unhappy life. And that is kind of what you need to assess as well, is who are you? Which category do you fit in? What stage of IDHT are you at? And then what do you want to do about it? Do you want to pretend that it doesn't exist or is going to get better? Or are you ready to admit that you've hit a point in your life where you're really ready to make some changes? And that's when I come in.
Yeah. I mean, I wish
do you get invited back then for companies? Because basically you're kind of splitting them down the middle. You're making one half of them feel great about themselves and the companies that they work for, and the things they're doing, and the other half you feel like absolute shit. It's like, oh, you know, this is why am I doing all this? Why am I here?
I speak the truth, and whether, you know, and then like, I'm not here to make, like, obviously I make friends with people naturally just because of whatever, but that's not my goal. I'm here to be the guy who tells you how it is. And whether some people, I always tell them, either you're going to hate me or you're going to love me, right? And there's no in between, because either I'm going to speak to you and hit a note, like hit a point that's going to, you know, hurt and then make you wake up, or it's going to go the other way, right? Or your ego is going to say, you're attacking me and I'm not going to listen to this from some guy, whatever. No, back to my old ways, you know, so I can destroy myself. So, I mean, I've heard it all, you know, right? And I'm okay with all of it too, because once again, if you're meant to get that change, you were meant for us to meet. And then if you need it, then I will help you. That's why I told Noosh too, I don't use social media anymore. I even told my wife recently, delete my Instagram. I don't want it. And she goes, how are people going to find you? How are you going to make money? I go, I'm fine in that regard. I'm like, I believe that if you and I were meant to cross paths, we will. And then if you need me at that moment, then I'm there for you. And I don't want to hit the masses. I don't need to have millions of followers. Even if I can help a couple of people every week, then that is fine. And that's the way it was supposed to be. And because of that, I don't need to live in this social media bubble, and I have more time for myself, and I don't need my ego to try to shine and to show off and stuff like that. And I know for me, that's important too, right? Because I know who I am and I know what my demons are too.
But see, that's a lot of people who don't. So for that, that's cool. So, and a lot of people, they just want to be on Instagram or TikTok for their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
So, and which is interesting, where we use it and our marketing people use it just so they promote the show. Like, they'll promote this show and you'll be on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. And hopefully it brings you people and talking about that. So if somebody wants to contact you, what's they use? I know we're scrolling the link to your LinkedIn page. Is that the best way to reach you and say, hey, I want a consultation? And how does that work? Do they like get a consultation, or how does that work?
Well, look, if you're good at something, never do it for free. I don't do things for
Right.
free, and that's just it. This is a business. This is a
Right.
business. It
I
is
got
not
it.
a charity. It's not a charity.
Right.
It's a choice. If
Right,
this was
right.
a charity, I would give it all for free. But it's not. It's a business, and that was so. A business is made to make money. If you run a business in the way of a charity, then you've got your thing
That would
mixed
be
up.
me. I'm changing it.
Exactly.
So if someone calls you up and says they want to work with you, then what's the
Yeah.
what's like
We
what's the
schedule
charge?
a call. We schedule a
Right.
call. We schedule a call and we meet online or you face to face, depending on where you are, right? Obviously,
Right.
some people, and then we get going, and that's it. Like everything is all about you. I use LinkedIn. That's the best place to find me. I do have timeyonair.com, but I haven't really fixed it up yet. It's kind of
Okay.
like all messy and stuff like that. But there's my phone number. So, like I said, if you want to meet
But-
me, we will meet. You will find me. I'm not. I'm not. I want to help people, but I'm
So
not.
is your price? Are your prices then what you're charging people? Are they bespoke, or do you have a flat rate? So this for an hour consultation or whatever, it's going to be so much.
What does that mean?
Bespoke means
Custom.
custom.
Means custom,
Yeah.
like my Sims.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, it depends. First I'd like to talk to the person and feel them out and see, a couple things, what kind of needs they have, where are they, what's their life like, and everything like that. And then I will give you a price based on that. So it's a very fair price based on many factors. So I don't want to say on the air how much I charge because if you
No. So it's more of a
And then
That's a
and I
bit,
wanted to, so and how long does not the consultation, but how long is your mentorship last then? Is it do I talk to you daily, weekly, monthly? Is like the first couple of weeks we're constantly in contact, and then after that it's a monthly kind of a checkup, or how does that work?
Once again, it all depends on a couple of factors. How
Okay.
bad do you need it? How fast do you want change? What is your budget? What's your time frame? Like, you know what I mean? What's your life schedule like? Do you have kids? Are you all over the place? Because also, if you need change, you're going to have to realize that it's going to get harder before it gets easier because you're going to have to invest the time you don't have now. You're going to have to invest the time and the energy that you already don't have in order to work and to make that shift. So at the beginning, like your life is not going to be pleasant, but I'm going to be there to help you through that. But then we're going to start to implement these changes right into your life. And then once again, based on what type you are, sometimes there are tools and systems. Sometimes it's just a matter of slapping you in the face, non-literally, to wake you up and stuff like that. So right away after one or two meetings, people start to see a difference, and then everybody's different. Sometimes I had clients that have been coming to me for the last 12 years, and they meet with me religiously because they need that. Some people are able, there's three types of people. Either you need constant mentoring because you just can't do it. You don't have the discipline. You don't trust yourself. You know that you're just not capable of that. So somebody needs a constant mentorship and attention. Other people need a once in a while a brush up or a kind of a just a little bit of a motivational kind of a meeting to see, but also like a status meeting. Where are you at? What's going on? What's been happening? That can be once a week, once a bi-weekly, once a month, once every quarter. Once again, there is no one answer. It's all going to be custom based on so many factors.
I love that. That's what I love about this. But everything is just like my commission work. I can tell price about anything that I do. It depends on exactly what you want, how big you want it, how much time do you need to spend on it, what kind of materials are we going to use. It's all depending on everything.
The show will be coming to an end. So Dominic, thank you so much for your time.
yes,
Wait,
thank you, Dominic.
Can we have 1 minute? Can we have 1 more minute for a quick questionnaire? Very quick, 1 minute. Time you there. Answer to me right away. First 5 words that comes to mind to describe yourself. Go, quickly.
Energetic, ambitious, creative, confused.
All right, that's okay. That's enough. Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite type of music?
House.
If the 4 elements were in front of you, which one do you pick?
Water.
Favorite movie?
Waterworld.
Favorite character, real or imaginary?
Favorite character, real or imaginary? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
All right. How
There
do
you
you
go.
feel about storms?
Sorry, one more time.
How do you feel about storms?
I love them. We had one today. It was amazing.
Lemons or oranges?
Oranges.
Cold or hot?
Cold.
Holding hands or intertwined fingers?
Depends. Both.
Breathe in or breathe out?
Breathe in.
Blinking or blink out?
Winking.
Now or later? That was a good one.
Now.
Now. All right. All right. Off we go.
Dominic, thank you so much, aka the Time and Air. It was a great show. Thank you. Noosh, as always, it's a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe and like the Noosh's channel. And you can catch her show every Friday at about noon Eastern time here on YouTube. So
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Have
I had
a
a
good
great
one.
time. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
the
We're glad you
invite.
could
Stay
make it. Cheers. Stay after. David wants to go over some housekeeping.
All righty. Thank you, everybody.